Hi everyone. So let's see the another scenario into the Azure Data Factory. So over here our requirement is, if you see over here, this is my own premise SQL server and I want to migrate data from one of the database of own premise SQL server into the, we can say that, into the storage container of Azure cloud, right? Which is Azure Data Lake storage container into the one of the directory or one of the container, you can say. So over here there will be my data will be updated on the daily basis, right? In this particular database, in majority of the tables, right? So now my requirement is, I want to take the backup on daily basis. Only once I want to take the backup of all the tables, and that too also for the latest table backup on the daily basis. I don't want the historical information, right? So for that purpose, this is my own premise SQL server and I want to take the backup into the storage environment. So what are my basic requirements, we can say? So we need to create, so first thing we can say that, okay, let me write it into the notepad file. So first thing we can say that we need to create a linked s- service which will be connecting to my own premise, right? Own pre my SQL server source. This is my first requirement. Now the link service also require the integration runtime, right? Now the link service will also require the integration runtime. So what we need to do? I want to access my own premise SQL server data. So for that I want to create self-hosted integration runtime, right? Self-hosted integration runtime, because my data are available into the on-premise environment, right? On-premise environment. So that I want to create the self-hosted integration runtime first, right? So if you see over here what I have done, so you need to go to this manage tab, and into this manage tab you can click over here into the new button. Into this integration runtime you have to click over here into the new button, then you have to go to this Azure self hosted, and then you have to go to the continue and over here self hosted, because your data are available into this private network, or you can say that on premise network, right? So now this is your self hosted integration runtime. But now when you create this one, it will ask you to click here to launch express setup for this computer, right? So if you click over here, or either you need to download and install integration runtime. So it will, what it will do, it will ask you to download integration runtime, right? It will take you to this particular page, and I have, because I have already downloaded this one. So see, this is my integration runtime, right? We can say this is my integration runtime. I have downloaded. Now what I have to do, I have to install. I just need to double click on this particular exe and I want to install this integration runtime into my system. So I have already installed it, and once you are installed it, what it will ask, it will ask to register. It will ask you to register through some key, right? It will ask you to so this is your authentication key. What you need to do, you need to copy this particular key and you need to register your integration runtime. So once you do the register, it will be up and running like self-hosted node is connected to the cloud service. So see, this is my data factory name, this is my integration runtime name, and this is my computer name, we can say, right? And this one will be required at the time of creating the link service, right? So now let me minimize this one. I have already done this thing, right? Now now what you can do, now you have to create one link service or let me directly go to the pipeline. So now my requirement is I want to load all the tables, or suppose I want to load all these three tables from this on premise SQL server into the storage environment as a CSV file, right? Storage environment as a CSV file. So there will be one query over here, information schema dot tables, in which I can get the table schema and table name, right? In which I can get the table schema and table name. So this is the query I required from this particular database. I want to load the data from this Adventure Works 2012 database, right? So I, for that purpose, I have taken this lookup activity, and this lookup activity I need to create one link service, right? Because this query I have written into this on-premise SQL server. So, so I need to create a link service. So if you do the new over here, then it will ask you which link service you want to create. So you have to select the on-premise SQL server, right? Now let me edit it again. So see, this is my on-premise SQL server, and over here self-hosted integration runtime. You need to select, and that should be self-hosted self integration runtime, right? Self-hosted integration runtime. Now I need to give this server name. So this is my server name. If you see over here, this is my server name. I need to give over here, right? Now my database name is Adventure Works database, right? Adventure Works 2012 is my database name. So I need to give that one as well. Now I am over here selecting the Windows authentication. So SQL Server authentication and Windows authentication. So I am selecting the Windows authentication over here, and my Windows username and password. Windows username and password I am selecting over here, and then I will do the test connection, right? Then I will do the test connection. So it will able me to connect with my Windows machine or Windows SQL with the Windows authentication, right? The connection is successful now over here, right? So now I can execute the query into this particular environment. The same query I have written over here into this lookup activity. See, right? Now if I preview the data, it will give me the query result, right? Like table name and schema name of these three tables. So this what it will give me. Now if I run up to this lookup activity, then see what it is retrieving me. It will retrieve me the output of this lookup activity into the JSON format, right? As a JSON format. So let it complete. Okay, it is completed. So if you see over here, it will retrieve me three counts, right? This one table schema. You need to remember this table schema and table underscore name. Again, table schema, table underscore name. So these three tables, it is retrieving me over here, right? These three tables. Now if you see over here, I need to use this output into this for each activity, right? So over here into this for each activity, if you see output dot value, I have to use, right? Output dot value, and then inside it, what I have to do, into the source container, or we can say that source activity side, again I have to use this on premise SQL server and schema name. I have to create two variables, right? Sorry, two parameters, which is schema name and table name. And I have to use that in the schema name. I have to use this item dot table schema and item dot table name, which is actually the output of the lookup activity, right? Which we have seen, which we have seen over here, right? Table schema and table name. Now the thing is simple. You need to point out this the same thing into the sink over here, and over here you can say into this particular container you want to load, into this particular container you want to load. So let me delete this three files, and this is pointing to this container over here, sink container, right? And now everything will be same. Let me just debug this pipeline. So I have in the lookup activity into this select clause, I have mentioned over here the filter condition table name, right? If you do not mention this table name, then it will take the backup of all the tables which is available into this AdventureWorks 2012 database, and that is our requirement, right? I have added this filter condition because my pipeline will run into this shorter time. That is why I have added this filter condition, right? So I think one table is already copied. Let it finish. Then I will show you the data into this container, sink container. So it will take some time only. Now one more thing also you can do. In place of the sink container, you can load the data into the Azure SQL side as well. You can create for each of the on-premise table. We can create the on-premise table. You can create one fresh table into the Azure SQL side automatically, right? That thing also you can do. Let me refresh this container. So files are available now over here, and you can see the data by editing over here, right? By edit. So you can see data is available into these files. Data is available also into these particular files as well. And let me see the data into this file. Okay, over here also data is available. So see, all the data are available, right? So this is how you can load the data from the on-premise SQL server into the Azure data lake container, right? So over here main thing is you should aware about the creation of the link service. So what are the requirement details to create for the link service? Then you should aware about down how to create the self-hosted integration runtime. That thing also you should know. You should able to install the self-hosted integration runtime. Then you have to register. You have to set up and install this self-hosted integration runtime into your system, and then you have to register this self-hosted integration runtime. Then it will be up and running, right? Then it will be up and running, and it can be shown through over here as well. So if you go to this manage tab and into this integration runtime, so this is my self-hosted. See, this is my self-hosted integration runtime, and it is up and running, right? So thank you so much everyone. I will add more and more interview questions and real time scenarios into my this course as soon as possible. Thank you.